Shit, this is a lot of pressure, man.
Yeah. All right. We're
What
good.
is
We're golden.
going on, royalty? How y'all doing today? You know, we got a special guest on. It's one of those special times. So we like to call the dumb smart. And today we actually got like a pretty funny person with us here, you know, aka Sarah Volpio. She is in the building. How are you doing today, man?
Oh, I'm good. I loved how unconfident you sounded. You started strong with my last name.
I
and
did? No,
I
I
really
did.
had faith. We just went over it, and I was like, he's going to go. He's going to do it. And you're like,
Say with full confidence.
Pio, you finish the rest. This is ad-libbing.
No, that's just bad funny because I'm terrible with names. Like, you can tell me your name, like, and I'll forget it like 30 seconds later and be like, wait, how'd you say that again?
Oh, yeah.
So that's
I
why
have to, at parties, I'm always like, because I'm so worried about saying like my name wrong or like the wrong name. So I'll be like, okay, hi, I'm Sarah. And then I'll hear, hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. So then I'm spending the rest of the party like finding my friends that don't know this person, be like, this is Emily. And then they're like, hi, I'm Brandon. And I was like, Brandon, write it on my forehead because I won't remember.
You ever just been in one of those positions where you like talk to somebody at a party and you're just trying to like figure out what their name is again before you say hi to them again by everybody who's around them? She's like,
My
motherfucker,
favorite
say her
thing-
name. Don't say yes or ask her a question.
Right.
Say her fucking name.
Right. I'm like, yeah, does no one call anyone by names anymore? It's just like, hey, come here. And I'm like, well, maybe just toss a name there. My worst thing is, it happens a lot since I do stand up, which it kind of makes me feel a little famous, is like, people will be like, Sarah, hi. And I'm like, don't know if I've ever met you in my life, but
Oh,
thank you
yeah.
so much. And then I'm spending the rest of the conversation, like if I'm at the store, like run into them somewhere and I'm just like, oh my God, it's been so long since I've seen you. They're like, we saw each other last week. And I was like, so long.
How is that having fans? Like, how is it having random people just like you never met before just come up to you and be like, oh my God, I love your stuff?
Well, it's happened a few times. Wait, okay, I got kittens a few days ago. Do you guys want to see them?
Obviously.
Oh,
That's
definitely.
the
We need
stupidest
those.
question ever.
Oh my God.
This is Gus. So I was fostering them. Sorry to get off topic, but like they're climbing up here.
Good.
So I got them.
They're trying to be cam stars. You know what I'm saying?
Look at them. This is Poppy. And this is her brother, Gus.
My buddy has a dog
my
named Poppy.
God.
That's funny.
Really? It's a cute name. My roommate thought of it, and I was like, perfect, because I knew I wanted to name him Gus. Anyway, so these are just these little idiots, and they've been sleeping all day, and now they're playing. But
Of course.
anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, I went on a date once. Okay, this was like fun. I was like, who am I? I went on this date with a Tinder guy for the first time. And we go to this like local bar. It's kind of like a divey like place. And as soon as I walk in, he was already waiting there. He gets up to greet me, and this girl comes over to me and she's like, do you do stand up? And I was like, I do. And she was like, yeah, I saw you at like, I think oh God, I can't even think of it. Someplace, House of Blues, they do a show up in like the fancy people room. She's like, yeah, I was at House of Blues. And like the guy I was with was like, who are you? And I was like, a big deal. But then he had kidney stones and he had to keep peeing. And I didn't really like vibe with him. So I had my roommate show up with her boyfriend. Anyway, he's like, sorry I left so soon, peeing blood.
What the fuck?
That was an overshare.
Was he for real or was he just like trying to get out of there himself, though? That's the real question.
No, because then he kept hitting me up afterwards and being like, I'm so sorry. Like, I feel really bad. Like, I was having a time with you. Can we try again? Like, I'm sorry. That was such a rough first impression. And he was like nice, but, you know, minus the kidney stones. Because it was funny because he kept going to the bathroom and I kept going to the bathroom to take shots out of my flask and then like hang out with my roommate. So I was like, yeah. I was like, no, you're fine. And I told him, I was like, you know, I just see us like as buds or whatever. And like months later, this was last summer, he'll still be like, hey, you want to try again? And I was like, no, but thank you for thinking I'm so great.
That's a lot to resist during the quarantine, though. You know what I'm saying? You got a strong will.
Yeah, I know.
Was it
Everyone
before or
I've
after that?
Looked at has been popping up out of the woodwork. You know, they're either everywhere.
Yeah, no, that's how it goes.
That's so unfortunate. Okay, so obviously royalty. If you haven't figured it out yet, our guest is a hilarious comedian
Yes,
slash
yes, yes.
freelance writer of some of the funniest shit I've ever read. Because wow,
Thank
we'll get
you.
into that a little bit later. So you want to do like a little brief? Who are you? What you're about? Just for the people.
Yeah,
For the
yeah. Rep your
people,
hood. Rep your hood,
Give the
man.
people
For the
what they
people.
want.
Do they want my nipples? Because I'm wearing a white T-shirt. Okay, that's a different that's a different cam show. I'm Sarah Volpio. I'm from Cleveland. Don't ask me about
Oh
sports.
no, you
I
from
don't care. I
Cleveland?
don't care.
Oh,
I don't care that LeBron left and then he came back and then he left again. And I don't care that the Cubs beat the Indians. And I just don't care that the Browns suck. I don't want to talk about it because I don't care about it. I met LeBron James once, but I didn't because it was at the showing of Amy Schumer's Trainwreck, which he was in. And they were doing a private showing in Akron because he's from Akron. Okay. And we went there and I went there with my ex's mom at the time. We were like waiting for Amy Schumer and I was so excited to see her and everybody was so excited to see LeBron. And I was on the news and they were like, "Are you excited to see LeBron?" I was like, "No." And then the girl next to me was like, "Oh my God." And then the news lady was like, "You seem upset about that." And she's like, "Yeah, I love LeBron. Hi, LeBron." And then guess who walked right into the theater and did not say hi to any fans? That would be LeBron James. So I don't. So I'm from Cleveland.
do you blame him? I wouldn't. Like after saying hi to people all day, I'd be like, man, I ain't saying hi to none of y'all.
Yeah, but this is when he was still. This was like 2015, so I think he was still for the Cavs.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, he was on the Cavs. Except the
Yeah.
year he won the championship.
I.
It's probably
think
the year after actually they won the championship.
You're asking.
But
Yeah,
regardless,
she
so you're
just
from
said she doesn't
Cleveland.
care.
I'm sorry.
No,
But so you're
fine.
from Cleveland, correct?
I'm from Cleveland.
How's the comedy scene out there? Like, is that where you started off, or did you start off when you came out here?
Yeah, so I went to Kent State University, which is like Eastern Ohio, and Kent State is like a really big journalism school. And I originally went in and I wanted to be like a broadcast major because I wanted to be like on E! News, you know?
Love it.
And then I was like, Britney Spears cut her hair. Let's dish. And I auditioned for a show that was kind of like E! News, but it was like the student version of it. And then I got cast on this show called The Agenda, which is kind of like SNL Weekend Update kind of thing. They write sketches, there's characters, you know, it's all about like making fun of the news. And I was like, I don't know anything about comedy. Like, I've never written a joke. I wasn't even really that big into stand-up. Like, it's not like I was watching stand-up specials all the time. And then a friend of mine who was in it with me, she started doing it because they had like an open mic at this little tiny gyro place, like right off campus. And I went and I was like, that could be fun and interesting. And I did it the first time and it was like so nerve wracking. And I still have a recording of it. And I was talking so fast. Mind you, there's like no one in this place, you know? And then I never even thought of like pursuing it. I just thought it would be like a fun thing to do. And then I just got more and more into it, blah, blah, blah. And then I've always wanted to move to Chicago. But and then when I found out it was like a huge comedy place, because Cleveland is too, like you asked about that, and they actually do have like it's not a huge scene, but there's a lot of comics who are very successful from it. Ramon Rivas, he had never moved anywhere else. He was in Cleveland, and he has a half hour on Comedy Central. He's been on Broad City. Like, he does a lot of cool shit, and he kind of was one of the like founders of the Cleveland scene. And there's some other people that are pretty big, but Chicago just has more opportunities, and you know, it's a way bigger city and whatever. Excuse me. And yeah, and so I just
I know some comics to go out there.
Oh yeah, in Cleveland. Yeah, it's
I mean, it's
different.
even like Bill Burr or Joe Rogan to go out to Cleveland or something, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they have
Y'all have a pretty good comedy scene.
Yeah, we have our comedy club is Hilarities, and they have like big headliners come through there. And I used to work there. I worked at the restaurant above it, and then I would just sneak down and like go watch the comics. And the first weekend I was there, Dave Attell, who's one of my favorites, was working that weekend, and I lost my mind. And like, he walks into, which mind you, I had never seen like a live comedy show or anything, so I didn't know. I thought that they'd have like security, but just tiny little Dave Attell comes like walking in and is like, hey, yeah, and then like, and I'm like losing my mind, and everyone else is just like, whatever. I'm like, Dave Attell just said hi and walked through. Does anybody care? And then I talked to him when he was out having a smoke break, and he was super cool. He's like, there's candy downstairs. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever you want. So it was very cool. But yeah, Yeah, now I live in Chicago, and I've been doing this for, I don't know, 5 years or something. But not recently, obviously, as of lockdown
Mm,
and whatnot.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, so you just, I mean, I've seen some of your videos, like the one you had on Instagram was the first signs of dating somebody. You did all like Lily the signs
Oh,
of
yeah, I'm
people.
very big into astrology.
That was pretty funny.
Thank you.
The
My
Aquarius
sister
one was
and
on point.
I.
I'll say that as an Aquarius
You're
myself.
an
Like, you
Aquarius?
feel me?
Hell
Yeah, it was mad funny.
Rachel, what's your sign?
I'm an Aries.
Okay, fun. I like Aries women. I don't really like Aries men. No offense to the Aries men, but
That feels fair though, honestly.
oh yeah, because Aries women are just like, I'm like in charge, but I'm not gonna finish anything I start. But like men are like, fuck you, I rule the world. I have an Aries
That's
moon, so I like totally get that. They're very impatient, very impulsive. Anyway, this isn't a zodiac reading, but I would love to get both of your charts.
Like, you want to know my rising and everything?
Yeah, every date I've been on, which is a lot. Recently I've been going on dates and I like make them text their mom. I was like, I need birth signs and I need to know where you were born. And I get their charts. And some guys are really into it. Like this one guy, he was like, yeah, like I'd like to know more about it. He's a Pisces with a Taurus moon, rising Cancer. It's like a whole big thing. But anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, videos. I make them sometimes. And I was just like bored and I was like, I can't do comedy and I don't want to lose my spark. And so I made those dumb videos and then I tried to put them on
You gotta keep the mind sharp.
You got to keep your mind sharp. I tried to put them on TikTok and it didn't really hit very well, which is like a whole thing that I would love to talk about in another rant, because TikTok is like, if you dance, you get millions of views. And when you take time to actually put creativity into thought in something, you get nothing. So anyway, I'm glad you liked it on Instagram.
I mean, the Chinese people like to see us dance, man. I'm just saying.
I didn't
everybody
know that.
on there dancing.
Yeah, it's
I
fucked
didn't know
up.
that they like got. Is that
That was
true
owned by
that
China.
they have our information now?
They're stealing all your data. They're taking all your data. All your information is gone. Social Security gone. They got that, man. Just know that. No,
Well,
I'm just playing. I'm getting my conspiracy back. I'm just fucking around.
Yeah, of course, your Aquarian ass and your conspiracy theories.
Listen, I watch a lot of Joe Rogan. You know what I'm saying? He opened my mind to a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. No,
like
I'm
the UFO episode.
Did you ever watch Shane Dawson? Do you know who that is?
Oh yeah.
He's like a big YouTuber. He does all those conspiracy videos, which are actually kind of frightening. Like the ones where they there was an app for kids, like a game on their phone, and it turns out that they found out that some guy was watching the kids through like the eyes of the avatar things.
Oh fuck that.
Wait, what?
Nope. Nope.
Wait, what?
No,
Hold
that's a big
on.
no.
This
Big
is
no.
crazy.
Big no.
Yeah,
oh my
I don't
God.
remember the name of the game, but it was like for kids, you know, and you like make yourself, you're like, okay, I'm a giraffe, and you live in your little world, and you make friends with pigs and stuff. But like, I guess somebody.
What a sick bastard.
Yeah, and they found out some fucking creep is watching them. So
that's fucked up, dude. How did that pass through like making an application? How do you pitch that to somebody?
Here's my thing is these people that do all this hacking are really wasting their talents on fucking kids. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you can really use that for the CIA or something instead of, you know, jerking off to Johnny, but that's just my opinion. Jerking off to Johnny is actually my my sitcom coming to Netflix this fall. So.
Oh, for real?
No.
Who's going to be House?
Yeah, that actually is true. I believe it or not, I've been sitting on a secret. I'm working for Netflix. From Instagram.
You don't have a comedy
TikTok.
special coming, not on YouTube? You could get one. You can start your own YouTube page, do your own comedy on there.
Yeah, I have videos, like a thing when people are like, oh, you do stand up. They're like, do you have any videos I can watch? It's usually guys on like dating apps. And I'm like, no, because I don't want that to be your first impression of me. You know, because I'm not like the cleanest person on stage, and I don't want you to meet me after you've heard me like talking about cum. You know, like that's not really my ideal.
I think if anything, that would be way funnier though. It'd make for a greater conversation.
Well, what's funny is a lot of my guy friends will literally invite girls to their shows as their first date. And I had a guy.
That feels like such an arrogant thing to do.
Right? I would
like,
never
I'm funny,
like,
come watch me.
Yeah, because then if it's not, which I had some friends be like, yeah. And if I don't like her and we're not vibing and she doesn't like my stand-up, then she can just leave, you know? But instead I was like, I guess, but also he's like, but then this way she gets to know about me. And I was like, great, but a date is like about getting to know each other.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
true.
know.
It's got to
And
be
then,
a certain type of girl that like that flagrant like talk. Cause I feel like you kind of get a little flagrant on stage. You know what I mean?
right. I
That's the
think that would
funnest
be a
comedy
good,
in my opinion.
right. I'm like, that would be a good idea for like a date down the line. But like my first thing, like I said, is, you know, I don't need to know him to like watch me do stand up and be like, so what did you think? Because that's when people will be like, oh, you do stand up, tell me a joke. I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, well, if you don't laugh, it's gonna be fucking weird. And if you do laugh and you're faking it, I'll know. I'm like, oh, are you a
People,
chef?
oh my
Make me
god.
soup, you know?
It's just a dumb question to ask over text. Tell me a joke. Like, it's not gonna hit the same unless you're in person, man.
Right.
But like, I hate people who ask comedians to tell them a joke. I don't know why. At
Yeah.
least like once you go on stage to do the stand up, it's just like they're just gonna be naturally funny when they're talking to you, man. Come on, man.
Right. And
That's one thing
I've
you
had
notice.
some people be like, oh, well, I never really thought women were funny. And I was like, that's funny because I didn't ask. That's right. Or, you know, there's always the guys on dating apps that are like, you do stand up? Like, I've always wanted to try. And I'm like, okay, well, that's my thing. So maybe we can find you something else, like cooking or like sewing. You know, I was like, let's, you know, I'm not like, oh my God, you're a basketball player. I've always wanted to dribble. Oh God, ever since I woke up today, I've been thinking about the court. And if you want to try it, then go try it. Don't tell me about it. I don't care. And you're probably gonna suck. I told a guy once, after we were laying in bed after we had sex, he was like, I'm gonna try. And I was like, okay. He's like, I think I could be pretty good at it. And I was like, we're probably not going to be because you've never been on stage or written a joke before. No one's great their first time. And he was so offended, but he was a Leo. So, and he was like so offended. You can't, if you tell them they can't do something.
Pride hurt. I mean, it's in the name. They're pretty much
Oh,
lions. They pride hurt.
yeah, seriously. And I was like, yeah, you're not going to be great. No one's, oh, I said seriously. And my phone started listening to me because they thought I said Siri. Yeah, so that was pretty funny. And he was like totally convinced he was going to be the next like Chappelle, like going on stage for the first time. And I was like, interesting. Come back to
People
me.
don't
I love this
understand like
journey.
comedians bomb too. You know what I'm saying? What is your worst bomb been like on stage? Have you ever bombed on stage?
Oh yeah. Plenty of times.
That's like the funniest experience you have, just bombing on stage where you just full Bill Burr, just let it rip like fuck y'all, I'm getting this off right now.
I never really curse at the audience. I'll usually just be like, oh, I'm blacking out right now. But the worst experience that I can recall where literally after I walked off stage, I was like, where can I hang myself? Was I was at the comedy bar and they do a show on Tuesdays called the Tomato Throw Show. And they give the audience tomatoes.
Oh my
The
god.
audience.
I'm fighting somebody.
No,
Somebody throws a tomato at me.
stress balls that look like tomatoes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought it was like real produce that they're just gonna throw at you. I was like, that's problematic.
That's bad,
Bit.
disrespectful.
And we're all like, let's do it. No, it's the worst show, but like it's one of those things where if you're like somebody like me who like can't afford to say no to a show, then like you'll do it. And so I've done it a bunch, and sometimes I've had great times because if you get the least amount of tomatoes, you win money, and if you get the most, you also get money. And the one time I think it was maybe the second or third time I had done it, and I said I had a joke about sleeping with somebody or something, and this belligerently drunk girl from the back is like, "That's because you're a slut," and I was like, "Oh." No, I started my set with saying that I had lost weight, and she screams out, "Well, you're still ugly."
Oh my god.
I was like, "Bitch, do you
Hecklers in the crowd
these
gotta be the
hands?"
worst.
I was like, okay. Okay. So then she calls me a slut, and then I just called her a cunt, and then the room just got really cold. Didn't
Still
really
one
have
word.
it in me to
Everyone's
try
like,
and fight her with comedy. I wanted to punch her in the throat. So then eventually she got escorted out, but she was just like yelling and screaming the whole time. And I walked off stage, and the manager was like, "I am so sorry. We got them to leave." I was like, "You couldn't have got her to leave the first second she opened her mouth," because she was talking all of like everybody sets, but that was probably like the worst that I remember. I've obviously had like bombs where literally it's just like silence and I'm on stage and I'm like, you know, I'm like, I'll just sing myself. If something's going wrong, I'll just start singing. So,
Oh,
but yeah,
Rachel, you want to ask any other questions?
Yeah, so we'll go through some of like the structured questions because we have to, I guess.
right.
So first off, I hate that it's starting this way, but as a female comic, do you feel the need to appeal to just women or just like in general, like you don't give a fuck, you just are gonna say what you want to say?
Well, as a female comedian, I when I never really try to appeal to anybody. My style is just like talking about my life, you know, dating, sex, my jobs, and I've had some women come up to me after shows and be like, "Thank you for like being relatable to me," because a lot of the times it's, you know, straight white guys talking about stuff, and it's like, and I never really thought about comedies that way, but like people really had like actually thanked me for like my jokes and being like, "Oh my god, like thank you so much, that was awesome how you talked about that, like I relate," and I was like, "You're welcome."
You're welcome.
But I never write jokes specifically appealing to something unless the joke has like content restrictions where it's like you can't curse or you can't talk about XYZ, then I'll try to like make it more clean. But as far as like on the normal, no.
Is it like specific clubs that have content restrictions, or is it like?
Or is it more writing jokes that have
No.
content restriction?
Well, so sometimes some like zanies, at least when you're doing like their new person showcase, you can't you're allowed to curse, but you can't be like dirty. Like you can't be like, "Yeah, I was fucking this girl and cum was throwing on the walls," and like blah blah. But if you were like, "Yeah, I fucking hate him," you know, or whatever, like that's not a big deal. But if but you know, some places are more like, I did a show at a rehab center, so they were like, obviously
Oh
don't
yeah.
talk about substances, don't talk about drugs, alcohol.
Don't talk about the last time I got high as hell. You know, I
Right.
was just
Which was
going
actually
crazy.
a super fun show, and one of the guys in the front row made me a rose out of a paper towel. It was the cutest thing I've ever had. So I'm married to him.
What? It takes talent.
Yeah, it was
Takes
so cute.
talent.
But yeah, there's things like that, or you know, if you do like a more like family friendly show or like a corporate show, or you know, things, or like some people do shows for church. Okay, God doesn't want to hear about cum on your tits. So,
Or does he?
or
Hey,
you know what,
maybe
he
he
probably
might.
does.
I don't know. He did
He
the Virgin
planted
Mary
that
kind of
idea in
petty, you know what I'm
someone's
saying?
head, if
So
we're being real.
I'm just
Like,
saying.
Like there's the Old Testament, there's the New Testament, and then there's like the real New Testament, and in there, that's when all the cum on your tits is brought up.
my favorite testament, honestly. Um, do you feel like you have to maybe like force yourself to have experiences like to come up with content, or just everything just organic?
I mean, I do anything for a story, but that was even before I started doing stand-up. Like I went to West Virginia a few weekends ago and had a threesome, which was like fun. You know, I didn't go to
Or was it work?
the threesome. What's that?
So was it fun, or was it like more work?
No, it was fun. It was a whole other thing that I would love to tell you about at some other time, but it was
Hey,
fun.
make it a joke.
Before that, you know, yeah, I wouldn't say I do anything for an experience. It happens organically. I was dating a guy for a while who all he wanted to do was like go to mics and like do stand-up, which is great, but I was like, but how are you supposed to have experience, like if you're spending all this time and you're not like having a life, you don't really have those experiences. So I feel like you do need to like get out there and do things, but I don't force myself into a situation to be like, oh, this would be funny. It's just like, oh, I hooked up with a guy that was paralyzed from the waist down, let's talk about it, which is a true story.
And I mean, very intriguing.
Some
Like
scary
everyone has
movie
thought
too
about
shit.
it.
Right.
Some
Like
scary
it's
movie
always
too
a
shitty
thought in
is
someone's
like,
head.
It was more men should be paralyzed from the waist down because they know how to eat snatch. And that's all I'll say from that.
I think they're kind of forced to. They got no other options. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, and I was like hammered by the.
They can pull a scary movie too. They can do it themselves.
Oh yeah, he drove me home. Like it was, and that's not a euphemism. He literally.
Wait, a paralyzed guy drove you home?
They have cars.
Wait, hold
they have
on.
like
Dude
special
paralyzed from the waist
cars.
down,
Yeah,
drove
he
you
had a
home.
special car. He got himself out of.
I know they have special cars, but this.
Yeah, he had a special like
It was like zzz,
the wheel
zzz, who
had
rolled over to
a.
your door, opened it.
Oh my god, sorry, honey. I forgot my cat's behind here. Anyway, yeah, he drove me home. He had this cool car that was set up where it's like the gas was operated via the like steering wheel or whatever. But yeah, great time. And then I asked him if his feet still stink, even though he can't feel them. And then he stopped texting me back. So
Damn. Damn.
so I didn't really hear from him again, but that's
My man
fine.
ain't changed his pair of shoes in 10 years. Tell me your feet still stink. Yo, that's a petty question. Wait, how did he get in and out of the car? That's what I need to know. I don't want to make fun of anybody who's paralyzed.
Was
This
he
is
just
No,
like
no, it
crazy
ripped
was
upper
experience.
body?
amazing. Yeah, he was super strong. He had his little wheelchair and he jumped in and then took both the wheels off and chucked the whole thing in the back seat. So it was
He
like,
was that dude from Avatar, like who goes to that planet. He's paralyzed from the waist down. That's how he jumped in the car. You
I've
know the
never seen
original blue
but
Avatar people. Oh no,
I take your word for it.
it was a dude on a spaceship just doing everything with his upper body. Like that's kind of
Oh
what
yeah.
I envision
That's
right now.
not what the point of the movie was at all, though.
It wasn't though, but that's somebody I was comparing to see it. Like
Avatar, the highest grossing movie of all time. Everyone comes out of it. They're like, you know what? But that scene where he got into his car, that's what stuck with me the most.
Like, and apparently, Jesus Christ.
That's what broke records. Was just that scene.
The
Oh my
wheelchair, not
God.
the animation, just the wheelchair.
They're like, do you think that wheelchair was
That was the
real
most
or was that
impressive thing to
animated?
me in the movie. I
Like,
don't know what
first
you guys are
edit, they're like,
talking about.
no, we need more chair. Get it in.
Right.
That was the most impressive thing in the movie. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Well, you know what? I'm not even gonna watch it now. I've learned what the
Yeah,
best part
just
is.
painted a picture. Okay,
It's
so
just
you've written for Cosmo, for Points and Case, Little Old Lady Comedy. Yeah, I read your
Yeah.
LinkedIn. I know things. What platform do you feel like you can most be yourself? Because you said you don't really have to like change yourself or alter your life experiences, but do you feel like more like yourself in your writing or in your stand-up or in like the videos and content that you make for Instagram?
I feel like I'm probably most myself when I write and also those videos on Instagram because some things I write for those sites are like weird. And I feel like if I was more weird like I am like in real life, it wouldn't be funny. So I'm like afraid to be that person on stage. So instead I'm like this bitch. I guess I've had so many people tell me that they're afraid of me after seeing me on stage or thinking I was intimidating. And I was like, oh, not at all. Like, I'm so shocked to hear that because I'm just like, you know, and it's like people are like, you were so scary. I thought you were a bitch. And I was like, I can be having this conversation. But I feel like on Instagram or like when I'm writing, I can be more myself as like the kind of humor that I want to portray.
so it's like your own platform. You're pretty much saying you can be the very best you that you can be, at least with your stand-up, right? Because you
Right.
just don't have any restrictions of your content.
Right. And also, you know, anything's funny with a jump cut as a video, i.e., that's all my videos is being like, you know, that's why I got a degree in production so I could make jump cut videos. But yeah, I would say probably those two are the things. I wanted to write. So like I said, I was a production major in college and I really wanted to write, and that's still like a goal of mine is to like write for TV. And we had to write a pilot, a 90-minute like our feature film. Okay. And I wrote one about a girl, like this really, what's the word I'm looking for? Like crazy, goofy, quirky, if you will, girl named Gertrude who meets a British man and then she has to go find her birth mother across the country and they stop at different sites to see. Okay. It's the weirdest movie and I don't know where that idea came from. And I remember
Is it a romantic comedy?
it's you'd have to read it. Okay. It's like very weird humor that I wouldn't be
Okay.
able to understand, but I was like, that seems, I read it recently and I was like, what was I on? But still,
Send
I
the
thought it
email.
funny.
Send the email.
I'll put it on my OnlyFans, so you have to pay to read it.
Oh God.
JK, I don't have an OnlyFans.
I mean, if you
But I'm
did, no
working on it.
judgment. I get it.
Well, I'm working on it. You know,
Okay.
that's after this. I gotta start.
Build up that content.
Right.
I get it.
I was watching. I'm big on TikTok. Not like I'm big on
Same.
TikTok. I love watching TikTok.
Fucking same.
And my roommate and I are always sending them to each other. And she sent me one where this girl wanted to see if you really could make money on OnlyFans, and all she did was post pictures of her like in a bikini, and in 12 hours she made like $750.
Yep.
Yo,
I saw
guys
that.
are disgusting. I thought we've been known this, man.
Yeah.
Like,
But like now you can make money off of it
Right.
without having to do porn. Like that was always
But
on the table if you're into
y'all
that.
gotta know that's that's like one of the first markets ever, and like guys are so nasty. If the internet shut down, like they would get they shit off to like a curved stick. That's how crazy guys are. I'm just saying. So
Oh,
you
I
know the OnlyFans just posted bullshit bikini pictures to get people off.
right. Well,
Some
I have a
sick fucks
guy
in the world, man.
that I met on the internet, and I take pictures for him in like weird shiny granny panties and like diapers and stuff. I really will do really whatever.
If it gets like if it does the trick, there's
And I don't know how that fetish came to be. And there's other weird things that I've done, like smear blue paint on my boobs. But you know what? It makes money.
You want you to be
Pays the
smart,
bills,
fed,
so-
like what the hell?
you got to make that rent somehow. Honestly.
Right. I was like, I've done like foot fetish stuff.
Hey, if I
too,
could,
but I didn't know there was a market for like men. Like
I know a couple females who. I know a couple females who want to get in the foot market. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you could send the information over just so I could help them out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Put them on because it's a very easy market to get into. People nowadays is wilding. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, this kid my
Like-
sister went to high school with hits us up for feet pics. So it could be your friendly neighbor who's into it. So
Your own friendly neighbor sees you walk outside the house with sandals on one day is like, I need that OnlyFans though. Imagine that. That's crazy. That's fucking
only
crazy.
toes. Yeah.
So,
Sorry, my dog was just scratching at the door, making it sound like a gremlin was here. I hope you didn't hear that.
Oh no, you're fine.
It was terrible. Like there's just paint chips all over my carpet because
So-
he's an asshole. So
There's paint chips.
one of
and
the
assholes.
Yeah.
one of the questions I have to you is, when it comes to stand up, I know you do it as like a passion just because you like it, right? But like,
Yeah.
what do you see yourself doing like down the road? Like, once all this Corona stuff's obviously over, because are you trying to go to like open mics every day, get warmed up, and just go all over the place,
Yeah, I would like.
or
I
like
mean, my
just
goal
perform
for
locally?
I want to be able to do stand up full time, meaning I don't have to have a day job. Like I, can be supported from that and writing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the main goal. And depression will tell me that that's stupid, and then I'll be like, you're right. And then so that's kind of a back and forth thing. You guys love who's on antidepressants. So but that's kind of the main goal is I would love to just write. I'm currently working on I got hired to write like a card game that's kind of like Cards Against Humanity, but it's like each pack is like a theme. So I'm working on that, which is dope. Like I just love writing because you can, there's so many different platforms. You can most of the time just like come up with whatever. So I would love to do that, even if like stand up went away and I was still able to like write comedy. That would be like the goal.
for sure. Do you ever find that you're like more raunchy,
Okay.
like boobs covered in cum, ever like inhibits other jobs that you're looking for, or do you think it just kind of like fuels and snowballs?
No, well, okay, so I'm a substitute teacher. And so I didn't want to tell any of because like the teachers at the schools that I work at, which know me all the time, they'll be like, oh, are you going to be a full-time teacher? And I'm like, no, I just needed a job. Well, it turns out they found out that I write for Cosmo, and they found my articles about sucking dick. They didn't care, but it was like this one old man who was like, oh, well, let me tell you some jokes. It wasn't like he was like, that was gross. But then he was also kind of being creepy, and I was like, great. But like, no, I wouldn't say as far as like writing for other things like Cosmo. Like, I mean, Cosmo's raunchy in itself, but I've also done things that aren't as like X-rated or whatever. And a lot of the stuff I do for like Points in Case, I try to make like more like weird humor, like alt if you want, and like Little Old Lady is more like about like women and our issues or whatever. But I don't want to. I just think it's like not tasteless, but it's just if I only wrote like sex jokes and like only talked about sex and like I just think that's overdone and it's not funny because it's like such a taboo thing. You know what I mean? I feel like there's no creativity, which is like why some clubs will be like, don't swear, because people try to cover up that they don't really have a joke with like cursing. Do you know what I mean? So I'd rather be able to like have more
Yeah.
originality with my content than just being like, dicks, which I love talking about. You know,
Yeah,
there's
I mean, it has to be talked about. They're
right.
like
I mean, if the
aliens.
joke slaps, it slaps.
Right.
The joke slaps, it slaps.
What is your like just favorite thing that you've ever done? Whether it was like actually writing for Cosmo, because I feel like that's like a big deal. Like everyone knows Cosmo. Like that had to be
Oh,
like
yeah.
a major win.
Oh, I like cried. I was like peeing, sitting on the toilet, going through my phone, and I got an email back from the editor, and she was like, "Sarah, I love this idea," and I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, I couldn't believe it. It was like the coolest thing. I would say that's pretty cool. I got to open for Joe DeRosa recently.
Hey.
So Comedians You Should Know is like the biggest showcase in Chicago. It's like a big deal to get booked on. Like they had this whole like audition process or whatever, and I got picked. And most of the time it's just a showcase with like other local comedians, but I got to open for Joe DeRosa and it was awesome. And like a bunch of us went out after and I got to just talk to him like for hours, and he's super cool and like gave me a lot of great advice. And now he follows me on Instagram. It's like not a big deal. No. And that was really cool. I mean, I've got to do a lot of like cool shows. I've got to do a lot of bad shows, but I'm doing a show on the 26th and I have to do 15 to 20 minutes, which should be interesting because I've done about 0 minutes in the past 3 months. So this should be fun. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, Cosmo was really fucking cool. And I didn't just write, you know, I got to write for them several times and I probably will again in the future. But like, it was just like, is this my life? But I do blame it on, I'm like one of those people that like, if you put things into the universe, it'll happen. And I have a Pinterest dream board and I put a picture of the Cosmo cover on there and then I got it. So whatever.
Yeah.
Thank my crystals.
That's a really good mentality, though, especially if you're a comedian. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
yeah. I
you
fully
gotta
believe
make it into existence.
Yeah, the secret or whatever you want to call it, you know, speaking things into the universe. I'm trying to work on getting longer hair, but I guess comedy can come first. So
Totally fair. So you said you have a show on the 26th. Like, what else do you have going on? Anything like big? You got some big drafts in your TikTok queue? Like, what's happening? What's going on?
I've been like stewing on ideas for TikToks. Thank you so much for asking. But I just get lazy. I didn't really have anything amazing for that. I have the show in Indiana on the 26th. So if anybody wants to drive all the way out to Valparaiso, I don't even know if that's how you say it.
It's not a great place.
How far is it?
I
How
don't
far
know.
is it from the northwest suburbs?
It's like 4 hours.
Well, you can drive 4 hours and see me struggle through 20 minutes to see if I can remember all my jokes. But that's pretty much it. And as far as I'm also doing an Instagram live show on the 20th.
Okay.
So if you want to keep that, you can follow me on Instagram and I'll post about that. But as far as that, you know, everything's just up in the air, which sucks because I write all of the shows that I'm doing for the month in my notebook. In March, I had all these shows at the end and everything got canceled. And then all these cool shows in April. Anyway, so that's the point. You can either drive to the middle of nowhere, Indiana, or you can watch me on Instagram, and that's about it.
Well, drop your handles. I mean, I would love to follow you on TikTok and watch like, you know, the few that you've done, because what else do I have to do with my life? Like, I'm just laying on my bed back here with my dogs, pretending my life is super fun. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting in the house, just bored as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I would love to watch some new content.
Yeah, all of my handles on everything is just Sarah, Sarah. My last name is Volpio. That's V as in Victor, UL, P as in Peter, O as in Orange. And I have to say O as in Orange, which you wouldn't think you'd have to specify, but a lot of people think I say L. Anyway, so those are my handles for everything. Find me on OnlyFans at www.titties or whatever it's called.
Last for titties.
Titties.
Oh my god.
Um,
I actually
Alright,
tried
so
to upload a set onto Pornhub because somebody did that and got like super famous, and then I couldn't figure out how to upload to Pornhub. So that's another thing. Keep an eye out for me on Pornhub, but not for the reasons you think.
Well, like you said, everyone has a fetish.
Yo, I saw somebody uploaded, people be uploading movies on Pornhub, on like the Avengers on Pornhub.
Right.
You're like, what the hell? Like the actual Avengers, not a parody, like an actual Avengers.
Yeah.
Like,
I
how
love that.
far in Pornhub do you have to get to find an Avengers movie, Charles, is my question.
I mean, it's just on Reddit. Like somebody will link it, like the movie, and it would just say Pornhub.com on Reddit. And you're just like, should I click this link? Because I don't know if it's gonna be the Avengers I think it's gonna be.
Right. Well,
But
now we all
all
learned
right,
something.
Sarah,
I gotta
we got
watch
one
the
more.
Avengers on Pornhub. You got one more question?
I would definitely recommend it. But we got one more question here on Dumb Smart. We like to just leave with everybody fully recognizing the person we brought on. So the question I have for you is, it's kind of simple but complex at the same time.
Okay.
Who, if you could give a description of yourself and this journey you've taken so far and describe Sarah Volpio, how would you describe her?
That's a big question.
That is a big question. Constipated. No, I'm regular. I don't know. I feel like I've grown so much since I started. I mean, it's, as most people do, the longer you do it, the better you get. I would say bold, but also afraid of a lot of things. I don't know. This is such a big question, and I'm a Virgo, and I hate talking about feelings. That's all you need to know is I'm a Virgo who shits a lot. With an Aries moon and 2 cats. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I would say that's one. I'm excited to see where this goes. Hopefully somewhere, because every day I wake up, I'm turning 27 this year, and I feel like I'm gonna die. So pretty good. Anxious, depressed. I also think I have ADHD, but that's a whole other thing. That's not really about my journey, but I guess it's a self journey. I guess that's it. I don't know how to answer this question.
Somebody who's a lot of things, but bold and funny are definitely 2 of the strongest things. You feel me?
And regular, not constipated.
And regular. And drunk most of the time. Not tonight.
I mean, it's fine. It's just right off screen. Good. It's okay.
I mean, you know how we do it over here on the Kings. We get it cracking. So
mostly
not alone
drunk.
if you are lit. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming on, and Royalty, this has been another Dumb Smart episode with a great guest.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Sarah. It was so fun.
Yeah, thanks so much.